Hello and good afternoon, RPG Limit Break. Welcome to our Week 5 Swiss Rounds matchup between LUF and Poidrac. I am Zoe Vermillion, and I'm joined by the always wonderful and intelligent and amazing, and Night Dew, you can cut me off at any time, so I'll stop complimenting you.
I mean, I love it. Thank you very much. But I will send most of those right back your way. But yeah, we're here. We're already in week 5. I know I expressed shock at that, but wow, we're in week 5. I mean, this tournament is flying by, at least for players and commentators. Maybe the restream crews like when would this end, but we're here for more free enterprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Week 5, I can hardly believe it. Next week is the last week of our Swiss rounds. Then we're going to take a week off, and then it's time for brackets. Feels like we just started this the other day, but here we are. We've got an elimination race. 3 losses is enough to send you home in this tournament. Both our racers sitting at 2-2, need to win to be alive for next week for a one last push, win and you're in race. And looking at this start, nothing really stands out. We've got a Sid start, great for the overworld. And looking at these objectives, we got a Rubicant and a Yang, one of each boss and character hunts. Really diversifies the routing decisions, and it's very possible that we see quite a bit of divergence in this seed.
Yeah, again, can't say any more about that Sid. That Sid is absolutely great. 788 hit points, and is probably one of the characters least affected by the C Neki flag that we've been putting in here, because oh no, all he does is he loses a prisoner shirt. So it's not like we really made him worse at all, especially if he comes in with like a good bow and arrow, a silver hammer, even great things like that. So Sid's actually very happy about this flag, honestly.
Yeah, I've definitely pulled Sid multiple times in this flag set. He's had a silver hammer, which is an upgrade over his base wooden hammer, and all you're losing is the prisoner shirt gives you protection against sleep. That's really all it does. So a great, wonderful starting character. If you can pull any sort of decent armor this early game, like a karate shirt, even like a karate shirt, you don't even need a black belt, just a karate shirt to go along with that strength ring. You have the dwarf axe to back row him in case he doesn't come with a bow and arrow. He can do some work as far as getting you through antmine and full bull defense and the hobs to get your third character. It'll be interesting to see who he's going to be paired up with, and we're about to find out because our racers are underway.
Yeah, the great thing about that Yang too is you are going to have potentially a very. Oh, I mean,
this way.
yeah,
Oh,
okay.
and some vanilla and a bag. Okay, so this is already kind of spicy. Double Sid start. So everything we just said about Sid being good is, doubly so when you have 2 of them. You can anchor one, use the other one to actually do some melee damage. A Magma Key start means that you can go down, you can get your Fey March freebie, you can set up Sheila 1, and you can do some looting of some higher tier chests in Dwarf Castle, Tomra, the Fey March Walk. You could potentially pull some great stuff to really get these Sids going before you even have to step into Antlion Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see LUF going straight south. We see Poidrac going straight south. Both of them have the same idea, and it's the one you just drew out here. We're going to go digging underground for all the stuff we could ever want for both of these Sids and whoever might be joining them. But yeah, these 2 Sids are going to very likely be very kitted out by the time we see the word go. I actually see some life potions in there that Poidrac is picking up as well. So isn't going to be kind of starved on them. Is actually going to do some quick armor shot.
Yep, and paid off. I was going to say he's looking for a cursed ring, and he found it. Now his anchor situation is set for the rest of the seed. You have a dwarf axe, you have a cursed ring, you have a Sid. No matter how many levels you get on this Sid within reasonable free enterprise methods, you're always going to have RA1 for all your other characters. That's a pretty huge pull. This Agate Armor Shop is kind of annoying to get to, especially because there's that little girl with blue hair that really likes to block your path. I'm not sure if LUF is going to find that, but does find these life potions. Let's see. Oh, he is. Okay. This is great. Both runners going to be on equal footing. An early cursed ring can really swing things one way or the other, so I'm glad to see both runners have that out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. The best anchor you can get here is somebody you can just freely level and have 4,000 hit points and throw elixirs and throw cure 3s and do whatever you really need to do that isn't really exactly damage, but who cares? He's unbustable.
Yeah, this is great. A little bit of diversions here from the start. LUF is going to go ahead and go into Dwarf Castle, check out some of these shops. We'll see if he decides to loot these towers. Whereas Poidrac says, no, I want my loot. Let me go into the Fey March, try and find this trap chest, reset out, and keep looting. Pulls a Dragoon Gauntlet. That's a good piece of defensive equipment. Ogre Axe in the basement of Dwarf Castle. That's a great Sid weapon.
That is one loaded weapon shop as well. Heroine robes and the armor shop as well for any Roses, Rydias, or Porums that might find their way into this party here. Really spicy, but we are in S-quarters, so gonna take a lot of looting to get some of this stuff on the ground. That curse ring isn't exactly free. It did take quite a lot. Oh, that's a life staff even. That's the best stat stick for a white mage right there.
And Poidrac decides, no, I'm not pushing my luck anymore. I haven't hit the monsters yet. So, and a power shirt. Oh, the world is free. Power shirt giving, I believe, is it plus 15 to strength? Okay. You don't feel good about finding that curse ring, but, you took the safe bet. Now you can sell one back for, a quarter of what you paid for it.
Yeah, this is why underground loot is so awfully good. Just because you're definitely pulling from higher tier lists than you are. We did find more
Oh my gosh. More treasure.
Okay, so by the time these two runners are done with that free earth crystal
and Bacchus wines and exits and silk webs, this is we're putting on the jet engines just irrespective of where the key items are. We're going to be able to just plow through encounters here. This is wonderful, Allie.
I mean, the only thing I want to do down here is, you're trying to pick up as much silk webs. I mean, your pocketbook's still definitely a little bit light. We're probably going and raiding that treasury, and we're also going to probably see, hey, another strength ring.
Another strength ring. This is marvelous. Oh man, this is so cool to watch, just to see how generous the seed is being, and both runners are hitting majority of these. There's our bonus round at the Asura spot. Very, very fast. It's kind of an annoying fight, but now it's there. If you can find your Rubicant, you don't need to be doing any boss hunts anymore. So that's fantastic news. But yeah, we'll see if LUF finds that second cursed ring and sells it. But had to sell the majority of their starting rune rings in order to afford that cursed ring. With the S-quarter on, we do start off with 10 rune rings as part of the dwarf starting kit. That's great just to get you some seed money. They sell for 5,000 a piece under S-quarter. Typically you can sell between 5 and 7 safely, and buy whatever you need. Poidrac gonna go ahead and set up Sheila 1 though.
Which totally makes sense. Go check your Sheila 1, maybe run your full defense, which actually makes a whole bunch of sense because you've just stepped on all these damage tiles, and a free heal did not burn all those cure 2s because we don't have any healers right now. Makes total and complete sense.
LUF pushed his luck a bit more. Seems to either have known exactly where that chest was and I missed it, or just got really lucky. I was paying a lot of attention to Poidrac's side, so I'm not sure if he had found that. But does get his Earth Crystal. And I imagine exactly like you said, you set up the Sheila 1, go turn it in, do your full defense, get your free heal, and then fly just a little bit to the east and turn in that Earth Crystal to check this treasury. There's not a ton that you really need for your SIDS anymore. Maybe a second power shirt, maybe some Zeus gauntlets. But once you start knowing what equipment you have available, it can influence what characters you do decide to take once you get to 5 and start getting extra characters.
Yeah, those poison arrows and the crossbows the Sid started with are fairly above average, actually. Did see that was a charm arrow there as well, so good ammo is somewhat easy to find here.
There's our Star Veils and our Thor Rages. Ooh.
And some vampires, in case you really think we're falling behind on damage. We're not.
All right. King of the Bull asks, will you help us defend? Sid and his brother Sid say yes. Let's see who is here for the first actual encounter that will face this seed. 7 minutes in, first encounter. You don't feel bad about it in this case. And there's a karate. So that's not the gang that we want. But, you know, not going to be too difficult here. Doesn't seem to have equipped that Poidrac on Poidrac's side.
I actually didn't see the Poidrac. Yeah,
because he didn't go to dwarf. That's LUF has it. Yeah, Poidrac doesn't. That is correct. Does find that second cursed ring on LUF's side. But yeah, so LUF will have the slightest bit of advantage having that Ogreax once he starts going into his check. So he's a bit behind right now. Just took a little bit of extra time shopping for that cursed ring. Did also check the dwarf stuff. So, but karate goes down. See you later. Hardly knew ya. What does the King of Football have for us today? More good equipment.
Well, if we wanted to make our SIDs faster, guess what? We're in luck because that crystal ring is a wonderful piece of arm gear with +5 agility, a paralysis immunity. Hi Ogreax, a high cat claw for future Yang, but is
bad.
fading Sheila 1.
No, he's not. You remembered.
I just remembered something. Wait a minute here.
He heard you 15 minutes in the past. And that's tower key. Okay. You like to get that early. Most runners aren't like me and are not huge fans of keyless tower, so having the tower key in hand is very nice when you go there, as long as you can remember that you have it and you don't just walk right by the bridge with the tower key in hand.
I mean, I'm a very big fan of fading a keyless tower here. We do find a white mage and a blue robe.
Yeah, so this here, I don't know if I would be taking the time to actually set up my equipment here in case I want to reset out of this, because if this is alt gauntlet, I don't need this Porum that badly right now.
I don't need her. I'd like to know what's in the Baron Inn first, probably, before I make that decision.
Yeah, I maybe don't take this, and so if this turns into an alt gauntlet, I'd probably want to reset. This seems like a play to commit to taking this if it is alt gauntlet. You still have 1 HP on these SIDs though. You may want to, toss some Gear 2s. There we go.
Yep. And Poidrac going right into the same fight here, and
yep. For those that don't know, it's such a very small thing, but once someone tells you about it, it becomes really cool. It's a party trick to show your friends. I knew that was Water Hag before it showed up, because there was no hesitation in the game. After the encounter triggered, it takes an extra moment for the alt gauntlet to actually load into memory, and so there's a brief pause where you get to go, nah, crap.
I mean, to be fair, we'd rather see this Water Hag in a much more brutal position here, because this is a free on top of mostly free here. But the good news is we do put that Porum in our party, and while some people unfortunately are a little flat on Porum, White Magic, again, in my humble opinion, is one of the best commands in the game, if just because of the Berserk spell, which both of these sits will make great use out of.
Yeah, absolutely. This Porum here is nice to find early. You like to have an early White Mage. My main argument would have been, I don't know if I like it as in to take an early, really not required alt gauntlet enough to take her, but you do have a life staff. You've got plenty of great stuff for. You start off with a wizard hat and a wizard shirt, so rune ring. She's all kitted out already, so if we don't come across a Rosa here, this is our White Mage till the end of the seed.
Yep, and I believe they both did check out the Kaipo bed. Did we have a bed ninja, or am I looking at a different? No, that was a different seed. Neither of us checked that. Yes, that was the other seed.
Seed confusion happens to commentators too. It's okay.
That was the other race we were watching just before coming over here. So yeah, contents of Kaipo bed still unknown here.
Poidrac looks like he's not interested in doing a full loot here. No interest in the save room. Pulls a kamikaze, which could come into play if we find that twin harp and want to skip the long casting sequence that the scripted Dark Elf fight gives us.
Also, the easiest way to down a character when you find an incredibly rude plague spot that you'd...
Very true. Bomb here. Okay, so this is not bad. This is a boss that you typically don't want to see late game. with an asterisk. Late game, this boss takes advantage of very punchy locations to the extreme, and it can be very rude. Early game, you are annoyed because she does gain additional HP as part of her script to try and make sure the explosion goes off, whereas late game you can sometimes just burn through that. But just letting the explosion go off, using the sky drum we found there in Feymarch, takes it out, and that is the Antlion Cave done.
It still doesn't give us all the XP. How rude.
Yep. Well, there's some sharpened Hanzo steel, so too bad there's not an edge in the bed, I guess.
Well, we don't know who's in the bed yet,
Oh,
so
true,
there could
true.
be an edge in the bed.
You could be, prescient, and there could absolutely be an edge in this Kaipo bed. LUF gonna get his tower key. Whereas Poidrac now, we typically don't think of this type of party as being power overwhelming, but when in comparison to overworld checks, we've got a little bit of party overwhelming. So let's go take out this Baron Inn, see who our character is, see who's here. Okay, well, there's a DKC guarded by a Bahamut. You don't like seeing Bahamut in this spot. Bahamut's another fight that we typically consider free because he just mega nukes and just reflect it back with Star Veils, which put the wall status on your character. And this spot has like 600 HP.
Yeah, down to 400 actually, but yeah, this is, we don't need to worry about Star Veils, which actually is a good thing because we don't need to spend more Star Veils on this and save them for, gold bezes and things like that. But yeah, again, still free, Mylon and friends. That's
okay. So we used our Gaia drum on the Mom Bomb. Would have been nice to have here. This spot is very slow. It is very punchy, but Mylon's script only has him punch once every 3 attacks. So as long as you can kill these ghasts, this is going to be very, very simple.
Yeah, and to be fair, this spot is punchy, but not 900 HP punchy, so both of these Sids can take a hit or two and just kind of keep on trucking. That was a very kind of spicy lit 1 counter there. Usually you don't see him taking, well, top one took 160 something, middle one
has the Dragoon glove, I think, so.
Yep, that'll do it. What you actually see Poidrac doing here is keeping the gas alive. So instead of getting punchy, and the Mylon just says, "Hey, you guys just keep using drain on the party here instead of punching." So now you don't have to deal with the punches. The corollary to that, however, is if Mylon dies here, the gas forget how to train and they figure out how to punch.
Yeah, and they get very punchy. But yeah, nicely done. The spot is slow enough that you can kind of take that risk. Gets a DKC for his trouble, as well as an adamant. So that's half of one of our objectives. Plus, now we maybe have a reason to head towards ordeals. Get this paladin turned, or this Dark Knight turned into a paladin. And you've got that ogre axe. You could just move that from Sid over to him, along with that power shirt. We're getting set up nice here with a pretty nice party. Give me a holy sword, and I'm starting to feel real good.
Well, I mean, we've got half a holy sword so far, and a key item check in ordeals, and I mean, why not at this point? It's we have a team that can easily go mulch through. But one thing we definitely haven't done, and I'm actually kind of surprised here, is we've had an Earth Crystal burning in our pockets for a while here.
Yeah, so it's time for everyone's favorite game. I don't know if we have the soundbite queued up, but I'm going to say it anyway. Rate that treasury. All right, power shirt, defense sword for the Cecil, headband, Zeus gauntlet, some more Hanzo steel, not the good kind, but yeah, that was quite loaded. You can get this Cecil into a paladin, have him with defense sword, power shirt, Zeus gauntlet, headband, and the only thing that's going to be better is you can get him a holy sword.
Yeah, had some slightly less genuine Hanzo steel in the Mirror Same, had a white spear, had
a
a sorcerer
ribbon.
robe, had a ribbon, had stuff for everybody. That
I'm gonna flat out call that 10 out of 10 as far as T Max Tier 6 is concerned, because it was a grab bag of goodies for everybody.
Yeah, that's everybody's gonna find some use out of there. Just if we find everybody, but I mean, hey, we've got the Cecil here. Defense Sword, Power, Zeus is a wonderful starting spot for a level 1 Cecil here.
Yeah. And if we pull something like the Legend Sword here for deals, and you can just, get your scoop of vanilla, go down to the coal shop, eat it while you wait for him to forge you the Excalibur, then you're just like, all right, cool. Cecil's going to go burr. The only thing that's better at that point is a Crystal Sword.
Ordeal's having 2 Charm Rods for Black Mages not appearing in the seed here so far.
And LUF gets his adamant, and DKC decided to come out of the mirror room, stretch his legs a bit. This is such an easy spot. Porum can survive this. This is going to do like 30 something damage per at most. Yeah, 17. This is DKC kind of forgot some of his tricks. Forgot that his power is derived from all those mirrors. 9 damage on that.
Also note that the Cecil did start with a black sword, so I mean.
Oh man. Super friendly seed so far. I'd love to see it. Probably the one thing so far that I have not liked to see was that Water Hag up on Hobbs, but everything else, no complaining. The Vel on the Leviathan spot is a bit spicy, but maybe just never becomes required.
Yeah, I think actually the demist on the Asura is actually pretty rude, because that is a very fast spot. I believe the fastest on the blue planet, now that I think about it.
Yep, and
Leviathan, and this is not the rudest, but a little rude.
Yeah, the magic power here is pretty high. If you can just get up a Star Veil to bounce off these nasty Ice 2s that are going to come out, you can really trivialize this fight. While Poidrac is working through that, and LUF is going to work through his DKC, I wanted to answer a question that was in chat. So in order to win, do they have to do all 5 things? No, they must do 4 out of 5 of their objectives, after which they will receive the crystal, which is the item that allows them to make Zeromus, the final boss, vulnerable to attacks. And then once they defeat Zeromus, then their seed is complete. Fantastic question. If you are new to Free Enterprise, you've not watched this randomizers, particularly this tournament, feel free to ask questions in chat. If you're watching this later on the YouTube VODs, feel free to go to our website, ff4fe.com, join the Discord, and we have a lovely channel called the Newbies Corner. We can answer any questions you may have, and we'd love to see you.
Meanwhile, apparently, LUF doesn't want a Paladin's trial. LUF wants a trial by combat and wants to burn through all of the Dark Knight's HP here. Which, I mean, hey, it's about the same. It's about the same speed, honestly. So
yeah, I was like, that was like, if that was a time loss, it was a very marginal time loss. So I don't hate it at that point. LUF not even gonna take the safety save, going straight into Leviathan, whereas Poidrac has defeated the Sog Champ and is in the mirror room to get his key item and to graduate his Cecil into a Paladin. Okay.
Well, there is an object of world-destroying power in here, but not the one our runners wanted to find, as no hide nor hair of Rydia inside there. So great news if we pick her up fairly quickly, but unfortunate.
And there is a Pale Dim here. A white dragon in the original version got translated to Pale Dim. I'm still curious about that one, but this shouldn't be too much of an issue. Nothing here. This spot has low HP, low damage overall. That Sparkle only would have been really spicy had this been something like a Wyvern.
I mean, it could have very well been, as we have already fulfilled the conditions of getting underground, so honestly, with that opening Magna Key, everything could have been a quote-unquote unsafe boss.
Absolutely. We already know where that Val is, but we don't know where Wyvern is. We don't know where Golbez is. Those two can, at this point, because we have underground access, they can appear anywhere they would like to and catch our runners off guard, maybe give them a bad time. Or if they want to be very nice, they could put themselves in a spot where you get to see the fight beforehand, and that's always generous of them. Poidrac, though, freshly minted Paladin in hand, gonna go ahead and descend Mount Ordeals. Has done pretty much everything on the overworld you can do, save for Zot. Zot, with the power that comes from that treasury, seems very appealing to me at this point because it is 2 character checks, it's 2 bosses. We're still looking for this Yang and this Rupert.
Yeah, absolutely. There, with everything Poidrac has and with everything LUF's gonna have, might just be waiting on that treasury until he's ready to go tackle Zot here. So yeah, I see them both, and actually Poidrac's gonna prove us wrong. Might be heading to Dwarf Castle.
Looks like it. I don't hate this. This is also 2 bosses and a character check. You've got quite a bit of power. There's also a good chunk of experience here, so we'll get to see who this boss is. If this boss isn't anything particularly nasty, Poidrac shouldn't have too much of an issue getting through it and powering up his party.
Luca, unfortunately, giving him the NPC business there.
Oh, and that was a Mylon Zed, was it not?
That had to be Mylon Zed because we did see Mylon and Friends, and it looks like Poidrac was just going for information there, or wants to reset up. I mean, it is good, and that Cecil is level 1, so even with the good stuff here, might want to take a little bit just to kind of figure out what we need. But again, with all that stuff out of the treasury here, finding those 2 characters on Zod is definitely going to be kind of a big thing here. Did run into the semi-inventory boss here. Doesn't know exactly what to sell here, is kind of pausing a little bit while LUF is headed straight to item shops in Troya and might be putting this also into a pre-treasury play here. Is also going to loot out a bit of Dwarf here, or at least go check the, absolutely, I believe this was just Heroin Robes there, but I believe that was the super loaded weapon shop, if I recall. I believe Catqua's, other extremely great things there, as Cecil picks up very nice things out of the inventory. Defense Power Zeus, wonderful setup to start with, as LUF is going to get the news of that absolutely loaded treasury here in just a little bit here. So Poidrac has scouted that Mylon Zed and is going deeper into the underworld. Is maybe, I thought they both, maybe it was just LUF that went into, and this is Poidrac's turn to go check things out in terms of what's available in the item shops. And we didn't exactly find a bunch of things they were looking for, at least in the Siren. We did find Bacchus wine, I believe, not in the Fey March. Yeah, actually, yes, in the Fey March, now I think about it. So that's big, but no Sirens. Meanwhile, we'd love to raid that treasury, but how many down here have been locked into of combat with the preeminent inventory boss here? As we do see Poidrac going to get a check in here on, it looks like probably vanilla demist, which we know can't be demist, but we could totally find a leg here. Nope, that's just a turtle, which you actually absolutely love to see there. That's one of the ruder bosses in the game, with the wave there on HP, and Poidrac is quite happy that we will not have to deal with Kanyatso at any point in the seed, because over there, LUF does find the Flame Dog in chest 1 here.
Yeah, so I love this play. Taking these first 2 chests, looking for the Flame Dog, has a chance of holding an Excal or a Crystal Sword, Avenger, anything like that. Icebrain making very quick work of it. We'll see if we get some good value out of here.
Meanwhile, Poidrac is going to run right by it here, so let's actually see what's in it. Just a gold apple, not terrible, but I mean, you do have a Porum in your party, so it's one of the two characters I love. Technically three if we include Edward, but I don't include Edward. But yeah, I mean, between like you have a Porum in your party, and Porum does like her apples.
Yeah, absolutely. That gold apple giving 100 extra to the max hit point value, especially early on in the seed, can really give some extra survivability to one of the kids, Palampour and Meridia, or Edward, who's not a kid but might as well be given that HP start. But yeah, Poidrac and LUF both reaching the save room at about the same time. We're gonna see who is here at the Magister spot and what's beyond that.
Yep. Okay, I know you had to step away for a minute. Really, about the only new thing we did see was we did see Kainatsu in the Vanilla Demist slot there. So just a little heads up there as we do find. Oh, hi.
Hi, Blarg.
Blarg. Well.
So Poidrac, let's drop it down to Wyvern Standard Time. Maybe put that curse string back on that middle Sid. Yeah. No. Okay. Don't need it. And yeah, let's try this again. Wyvern, otherwise known as Blarg, is both runners entering at the same time now. If you can get up a Star Veil here, should be fairly free. You just got to make sure that your agility is set up such that you'll get a turn off beforehand. Looks like we're going to get that. LUF is not on Wyvern Standard Time, but does get that Star Veil up. Poidrac's up now, and the spot does have about 9,000 HP. So one reflected is not quite enough, but 3 reflected, that should do it.
Yep, we see 4 9s. We see the Wyvern going straight down here. And Poidrac is through at the cost of a few Star Veils, which I did actually see him buying more of, so not at the huge cost. And hey, Bahamut's already down, so honestly, we're really only looking for Star Veils for things we want to reflect spells on now, and Golbez. So
yeah, and maybe an Asura, just to keep her from healing herself.
True.
But yeah, you know where they're for sale at, so this is a great time to use them. This is a particularly nasty spot for Wyvern just because of that Mega Nuke damage to HP ratio. It's not a spot where Wyvern will just one-shot herself. But hey, we know we have a vanilla Golbez, and here's a second Porum.
I'm not going to speak of vanilla Golbez. He and I are still not on talking terms after week 3. Week 4, yeah.
Let's see who our second character is here. Who is Porum holding hostage? Oh, there's Iridia. Well, we got Charm Rods. We've got Bahamut. We were just talking about how I'm not a huge fan of Iridia in this flag set, but with a Bahamut, I might be.
I'd say I'm not really looking forward to hooking up second Porum here. So I would absolutely drop Porum here, load up our young summoner with the King of all Dragons.
Yeah, got a Gaia hat. Got that sorcerer robe that's chilling on Porum. Take that off her. Give it to Iridia. Charm Staff, Gaia hat, sorcerer robe, rune ring. That's, aside from a tiara and a Stardust Rod, that's the most wisdom you're gonna get on her. Teach her that Bahamut, and yeah, our AoE problems, which is what a strong physical party is usually lacking, are now taken care of once you can get enough MP on her to cast that.
Yeah, and that's again, the big thing about that is it's gonna be defensive enough to hopefully keep her. Well, she is in the front row, so any punch sent at her is probably. Oh, hi, Asura. We were just speaking about Star Veils, weren't we? So actually, what is going to berserk up that Cecil here? Question is, are we in a position where it's going to be Blueface here? Oh, it does have an Elven Bow and Mute Arrows, so does have mage killing options here.
Yeah, Mute Arrows. I think we have a Mutant Knife floating around. Um, also, this defense sword's doing plenty of work by itself. This spot has about 6,000 hit points, so as long as you can keep her off of that Cure 4, should be in good position. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, that orange face is Cure 4, and so all the progress is undone, and we're back at start here. Sid did throw a Star Veil, might be going to throw a second Star Veil to put an end to that here real soon.
Yep, there we go. Bouncing the Star Veils. As I mentioned, Star Veil puts a wall on your character. It's considered a spell, so if you cast it on yourself when you already have a wall, it bounces that wall to the opponent. Asira, while she's walled, cannot hit herself with any of her spells. So the only damage she'll be doing now is her counter punches, which are not going to be hitting too hard. You might be worried about that Rydia surviving. Maybe you want the experience on her to get Bahamut online, but more importantly, above all else, you want to just get through this fight.
Yeah, of note, some people might not realize, I'm guessing with the Reflect script, dead characters are not valid targets, even if Asura bounces a life 1.
It's so silly.
Yeah, so
it's such a
you're never going
completely
to have
dead
that.
spell.
Yeah, you're never going to have that Sid that's laying down on the job catching a life 1.
Yeah, such a silly thing. Completely dead spell. Even when she casts it on herself, it does nothing when it's reflected. You're just like, all right, cool, free turn.
That's great for people who want to manipulate their anchors. Love did pick up that Rydia, and I believe that, yeah, they're both actually working with the same party here. Does seem to be keeping her face down, even in the face of having a Dwarfax Curse Ring Sid available, so...
This could be a case where she went down and you just don't want to invest the life potion to get her back up, because she might just get knocked down again. The key item check here, though, results in an Artemis bow. Don't necessarily hate that, especially with 2 Sids in the party. You want to get one very speedy, maybe take advantage of some weaknesses. You know, we've already seen Asura, but there still is the Baron Guards out there who are mage-type enemies. The Ruby phase of Elements is also. You can put those mute arrows to work. Lit arrows, if you have them or can find them, can do good damage against Octomam and Odin, considering Kainatsu and Leviathan are already out of our pool. But Poidrac, Tower Key in hand, says, all right, let's just go straight here. We're running out of spots where we can get things. It's here, or it's the Fey March, or it's through that Vanilla Golbez, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and to kind of get that, Sid is actually probably, and I'm sorry, Rosa, but Sid is probably actually the best user of that Artie bow, because it fixes his main drawback, which is generally his low agility growth, but also with those penalties to the spellcasting stats, Sid doesn't quite care about that, actually.
Yeah, at worst, it makes him a bit more squishy to spells, because the Wisdom and Will stats not only affect the damage of your spells, the accuracy of your spells, but also your magic defense. Oh, this is an alt gauntlet.
Oh, yeah, that is. Unfortunately, that's a 5 fights, and we don't have enough for 5 Bahamuts here, so it's going to be a little bit of a slog here.
Yeah, good experience, though. I do like taking this here. You're going to get this. You want to do this regardless, and as it stands right now, you've got 4 Kiatum locations, 5 Kiatum locations left, 6 if you include the bonus round from Demist. So ours aren't terrible that you're going to get something from here. That Stoneman says no Bahamut.
And LUF has decided here that we're going to have Archer Porum here as well, so...
A bit of a divergence. LUF is going to come here into... Oh, going to grab... what was here? The Heroine Robe?
Oh, yeah, that is a Heroine Robe there. That's a pricey Heroine Robe. Or not here. Nope, never mind.
Maybe I was thinking there's some different arrows there. Gonna stop and think for a moment. Put that defense sword back on. Yeah, let's just go for this. You know that it's a Golbez. You have a crystal ring, you have a ribbon. You could very easily set it up so that one of your characters doesn't get paralyzed, doesn't get eaten by Shadow, and can pretty much take down this Golbez freely. Just gotta make sure we make it through the Mylon Zed.
Yep, how we're doing here, doing a little bit of a recap, we have found absolutely 0 objectives. We started the seed with 2 SIDs, so hey, that was nice there. We also started with a magma key that led into an earth crystal at the free spot in Feymarch, so all the loot in the world has been at our runner's fingertips from the word go.
Yeah, we've pulled a couple power shirts. We got a Zeus Gauntlet, defense sword. Right now, the main thing that our party is really hoping for is, man, I wish I had a holy sword, because even our Rydia has access to the Bahamut spell. LUF seems far much in keeping Rydia as an anchor here, whereas Poidrac is like, no, Rydia needs to summon Daddy Dragon.
I mean, again, they found 2 curse rings, one bot, one not bot there. And here's what you want the dragon for anyway. All these tofus, heavily resistant to physical, not so resistant to dragon fire.
Yep, and I don't believe Poidrac has a sneaky drain sword in his inventory to take advantage of that that weakness that all slime enemies, flying enemies have to drain weapons. But Bahamut is even better than a drain weapon, so. I didn't realize that Bahamut was a vegan, because he just completely devoured that tofu.
I'm not sure what to say with that.
LUF through the Mylon Zed finds a Rosa. That's someone that is not only a better white mage, but can also make better use of the Artemis bow than Forum can. And Rosa's main downside is that you don't get exit on her until after you've completed the Tower of Zot.
But that's why Cecil exists.
But we've also completed the Tower of Zot, so no big deal. And Poidrac, that was a very speedy alt gauntlet. I missed what was there. I'm guessing it was a Womp.
Yeah, I also missed what was there, but I don't see any new white shirt. Which is absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I mean, now we're kind of hinging on this tower key to say, hey, do we have any progression here? Because at the tone, or at least in 30 seconds, it will be 40 minutes into the seed with 0 objectives completed. And as a runner, that makes me nervous. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh yeah, absolutely nervous. If I'm past 30 minutes, I haven't found the boss or the character, I'm like, oh boy. We got Maga Sisters here in the Super Cannon room. Who knew they were so tech savvy? But that white shirt's nice. You know, you've got a life staff. You got a white shirt now. So even if you end up like somehow fading this dwarf castle, or you don't want the Rosa, or you want to make Rosa your archer, your Porum is going to be doing plenty well as a white mage with that equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could actually see the possibility here of actually tossing one Sid for the Rosa, having 2 Berserk casters here, because I'm not going to toss that Rydia with Dragon God Online here. And knowing that we have a Heroine robe available in Dwarf Castle for the low price of 60,000 gold, which is a little steep, but we do have Artie, and I believe Charm Arrows were found as well. So, I mean, Battle Rosa is absolutely a thing that can happen here.
Oh yeah, no, I actually am tempted to do that as well. You can use this white shirt life staff on your Porum, make her your primary white mage, turn Rosa into an archer, allows her to, just like Sid before, exploit those elemental weakness, has the aim command, so could be very useful against something like that Valvalis, because you're going to make sure that you hit, and you'll hit for the maximum amount of damage. I had to sneeze, I'm sorry. And yeah, whereas the second Sid, not going to be doing a whole bunch. Having one Sid to anchor, second Sid, just an extra chemist. But we have cookware hanging around Luca's neck. Strong, sturdy neck of dwarven girls, I guess.
I mean, I'm not going to tell a dwarf what she can wear around her neck at all.
She's a trendsetter.
Maybe that's dwarven fashion these years. We'll have to ask the king after this tournament is over here. But yeah, that's absolutely a pan. That's absolutely 2 more key item checks, as Sheila 1 has been checked both times.
That's
a sand ruby. That's
sand ruby, yeah. So Poidrac going to go and turn that in right away. This could be your Yang. This could be a Fu. This could be an Edge, a Cane. You have plenty of equipment that you can make use of here in place of maybe this second Sid. Surprised that neither runner routed Kaipo in earlier, because you do have a character check. You maybe want to know whether or not this standard ruby is worth the travel time. Pulls an Odin summon. That's probably just going to be sold with Bahamut in our inventory. But there we go. 42 and a half minutes in, we find a Yang here through the tower key, and Poidrac has lit up objective number 5. We're on the board. And yeah, Yang is just Sid with a bigger HP pool and more agility, so ditching a Sid for this Yang here makes perfect sense.
Yep, is still in the port of the seed here where, and I missed what that was.
That was a hook. That was a hook.
Well, that's possibly required there with the Pinktail still being on the...
Could also be a duplicate Yang, which would allow LUF to not need to do anything in the tower.
Yep, and I love chat because we got Hook, we got Pan right around the same time here, so...
I see it now. It took me a moment. Hook and Pan around the same time. What is this, Neverland?
It is now.
10 out of 10, chat. You're better better at making jokes than I. Also, apparently better at using words than I am. Jeez. Well, okay, so the Pan immediately turns into a rat tail turn in because you got both the Hook and the rat tail. So let's just continue this fetch quest.
I mean, I just love it for the fact that we're just going to throw key items on top of key items here, and we're casually approaching that 10 key items plateau here. So
already at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this turns into another key item, or even just a further chain, so like our Twin Harp, or our Baron Key, or even our Darkness Crystal, that would be spicy. Then we're gonna inch even closer to 10 key items. And for those that are new to Free Enterprise, 10 key items is the point where you start getting double experience. Because this is a randomizer of an RPG, we've made some tweaks to speed up the game, because if you ever watched a vanilla speed run, you may be wondering how we managed to beat these seeds in under 2 hours. We've done some shenanigans with experience, and one of them is when you get 10 key items, you get double experience.
As we see that Bahamut would have casually one-shot the Mylon Z in its spot. That's why we keep the Dragon God around.
And we have Burr Light. Okay.
We don't need no stinking forge. We're just going to take it right now.
Yeah. The lovely leader of the Adamant Cave is saying, "Oh yeah, no, I don't need to give you the rock. You already have the rock. Let me just give you the sword that you could turn the rock into." So, Power Shirt, Zeus Gauntlet, Headband, Excal Cecil. The only thing that's better is having a crystal sword. You're feeling pretty good if you're LUF right now. Gonna go ahead and go into this tower. There's a little bit of bad news, though. There's still that pack of flans at the top.
Yep. Now, mind you, I think an Excal Cecil will have enough physical power to get through them. I don't know what LUF's J Adam situation is.
I saw a blizzard, which is, I don't know if those tofus are the ones that absorb ice, so.
Okay, we're getting chat saying Excal Cecil does not have enough power to do so, but meanwhile, Poidrac is left with Yang and Sid. Yang doesn't have a lot of hit points left, but Sid has more than enough to live to see a Star Veil here, so should be through this gold bed just fine.
Scarlet Kitty, a wonderful art director in chat, saying, "If we only had the Flandango." Yes, but we're not playing with Super Smiths on. So yeah, as I mentioned before, a Drain Sword here would be great.
Oh my, what we just actually saw, as we did see Sid take green digit hit points from there. So we do have Sid with a Cursed Ring and Elemental Resistance, either, I'm going to guess, probably from a Dragoon's piece of equipment here. So
Probably
Sid is just shrugging off these lit 3s, saying, this is fine.
Yeah, either a piece of Dragoon equipment if he's absorbing both the fire and the lit, or a piece of Diamond equipment if he's just absorbing the lightning. But we're going to push through this here. This is... Hold on. Is this a vanilla party for this location?
No, this would be you've got 4 out of 5 pieces. If you swapped Yang for Kane, it would be a vanilla party. Actually, no, Yang would be here. It's Sid for Kane. That's right. Sid leaves. Yeah, Sid leaves. Rydia shows up here in vanilla. That's right.
That's right. Okay, so nearly vanilla. That Ogre X on LUF side, just tearing through that stone man. And the X-Cal tearing through the other. Poidrac, though, gonna get his pan here from Luca, and gonna follow this chain through to get his own X-Cal. But yeah, at that point, we've got that Fey March left, right?
We've got Fey March. We don't have a Darkness Crystal. We've got Fey March, and yeah, that's about it, actually. We've been everywhere else, so where to go?
Yeah, so I want to ask you, you've got a Valvalis at the Leviathan spot. You have a D-Mist at the Asira spot. Who do you want to take first?
Neither, and I take a vacation away from the seed. However, if I'm forced to do so, I'm going after the Mist Dragon there.
Let's see. At the Leviathan spot, it's actually very easy to punch that spot. So with an X-Cal Cecil, you could Zerk that up. Or even if you wanted to go cover strats, you could not Zerk him and just work through it slowly. That's actually not too bad. I'm worried about the D-Mist because if X-Cal is your primary source of power, D-Mist is resistant to holy damage, and that's going to draw that fight out, and it's really hard to get a Bahamut summon off against D-Mist at that location.
Yeah, you're probably going to want to downgrade into the defense sword there. My one question, because I do not remember the entire contents of that treasury, is we do have a ribbon. Have we found a Moonveil?
I did not see a Moonveil. This is definitely the type of Fey March where I would love to have a Moonveil because it trivializes both fights. But yeah, Luf through the alt gauntlet, got his white shirt. Will be approaching the tower to get his sand ruby. I think as much as I want to take D-Mist first because it is going to be 2 checks for 1 boss, that Val is much more doable with something like cover strats and using Blink from your Porm to try and keep the Cecil from falling. It's not a good thing.
The question now is, we do actually have access to Dr. Dialogue in the waterfall, by the way. First eyes on that. I do actually want to, at this point, do what Poidrac is doing, summoning the hovercraft, but I think I actually want to peek into Cave Evelyn at this point in time, because we're going to have 2 of those 5. If I can find some sirens, and I know I don't have 10 key items yet, but if I can do a little pre-grind that's going to make those Fey March bosses that much easier, I want to do that.
Yeah, that's a good call. Also, you could find something like a Fu here. Fu would tip the scales and make me want to take D-Mist first, especially if he already has Nuke, which I think at this point in the seed, it's very unlikely that he would not have Nuke. But yeah, you're sitting at 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 key items with the Rat Tail, if my math is right. So yeah, doing a grind this close to 10 key items sometimes feels bad, but when all that's left is 2 nasty Fey March bosses, if you find sirens here, you've got to consider it. But no, just hourglasses and coffins. So if there are sirens, they're on the moon, right?
Yeah, that's the only place they would be left. I think they can be extremely cheeky and possibly still show up in the Coco shop, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That may be like S Pro.
That's S Pro. They can only show up in the Coco shop. Coco shop on S Standard is, I believe, only tier 6 and 7 items, or just tier 5 and 6. I can't remember exactly the math that plays out, but I've never seen them there in S Standard.
Yeah, most of the time we're seeing like Power Shirts, Zeus Gauntlets, Stardust Rods, pretty good stuff, but Well, I'm happy to see CPU off the board because it's annoying. That's a cane. And apparently, Poidrac says, no thank you, I've got a White Spear and a Defense Sword, and I don't care.
So this is actually, I think this is a very good show of game knowledge from Poidrac here. Because you see a cane, and you know there's a Val in the Fey March spot, which is one of the last two locations that you have aside from this pan turn in. You may be tempted to take that. All that's going to do for you is going to allow your Rydia to Bahamut Val at the cost of one of your other party members, because this is one of these spots that is very, very friendly to meleeing Valvalis. You don't need that cane to get through. Runners who are maybe not as familiar or don't look at the spreadsheet when they're in mid-race may fall for that trap and take a cane that they don't necessarily need to, who's going to be underleveled to this point and might not push forward your final plans.
Yeah, and the other spot there, I mean, Bahamut is, or sorry, the Leviathan spot, you never see it because Leviathan's base script is pretty much big wave, or transform, big wave, de-transform, ice 2, transform, big wave. You never actually see Leviathan punch, so you never know that he can actually punch you for quite a lot.
Yep, tied for the highest physical attack in the game. I think it's 114 physical attack with 17 multipliers. Very, very nasty. Up there with the Bahamut spot, which, as you said, also never punches you, and the CPU spot, which, surprise, never punches you.
It never does anything other than percentile damage because the CPU has scary stats across the board. I don't want it to magic me or to punch me, honestly. So we don't have sirens, we don't have moon veils, so the easiest options are completely off the table here. We do have the potential of Battle Rosa again, only level 17 here, but does have that Ink Man coupled with an Artie Bow. Does not look that's what Poidrac is going here, but would have a perfect hit rate against Valvalis. Is gonna be well armored up here, might be able to take a shot in the back row, maybe.
Yeah, I feel we'll see what his plan is when he gets to the save point. If he pops a tent or uses the inn, then I'd imagine he's planning on berserking up his Cecil and just trying to kill Val as soon as possible. If he only cures up his Cecil, then we're going to be seeing cover strats here where when a character is in critical HP and you have a Cecil in your party, so long as he is not berserked, not in critical HP himself, or is not parrying, he will cover for a critical HP party member and take a melee hit for them. These Bacchus wines here are pretty good if you want to go the Zerk route with your Cecil. You gotta be real careful though, because you may want to blink him up, maybe blink up your Porum. Not your Porum. Rosa doesn't even have blink at this point.
I mean, you kind of want to blink everybody, but Cecil probably first if you're going to be running cover strats, so...
And he's healing up everybody, so I don't think we're seeing cover strats.
No, and I kind of wish, and maybe LUF is looking for him there. I did see one illusion in Poidrac's inventory, however, I'd like a whole lot more.
Yep. All right, cool. We're, depending on how board AI is feeling today, we could be in for some lengthy Fey March fights or some relatively quick ones. Imagine if we're going to go berserk here, we want to get this Cecil into the back row, maybe with the Rydia. You're going up against D-Mist, and then if not, Rydia can just chill in the front row. She's not going to get through this tornado either.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'd definitely get Cecil in the back row there. Even at 1266, I don't know what's on that Cecil. I mean, doesn't matter if Rydia's in the front row or not here. She's not taking a hit from any one of them and surviving, so...
Yeah, I think we still probably have that Power Shirt Zeus Gauntlet, which is very, very offensive, but those pieces of equipment do still have relatively decent defensive stats. Not anything close to something like a Crystal Armor, but very, very nice. Slow is going to whiff here. You're gonna you're just gonna toss this Artie Bow on Rydia, in fact. I don't hate it, especially if you want to get Zerks out. She'll be doing some damage, which is better than no damage, especially when this bot has 35,000 hit points and you're in for a very long sort of battle of attrition.
Yeah, might be letting everybody drop to minimal HP here. Is at least setting up now. Cecil again took 198 from that punch, so is probably, unfortunately, he's probably the best person to defend from Val here. Unfortunately, he's probably your best source of offense with that Excalibur too.
Yeah. So what you can 970 from that one. Yeah, that's a reset. Maybe try demist. Yeah, this is a nasty Fey March to be required. We were talking how generous the seed was starting off, but the key items have just not landed in a place where we ended up with very generous route that allowed us to avoid these bosses.
Yeah, and I mean, here at the very least, you can get Cecil to cover on the Rydia, at least on Poidrac's side, and 3 Dragon Gods ought to do it here.
Yeah, you're just gonna need to time your Dragon Gods to start queuing up at about the time she's gonna come out of her mist phase. Takes a reset there. Probably wants to lower the battle speed, if I'd take a guess.
I probably wouldn't mind taking it down to maybe 3, getting Cecil in that back row too. Wants to get cover up probably here. Probably Asura hits a little quicker than Leviathan, but a little less hard. I mean, Cecil's still probably going to take, if we saw like 900 on the top end of Leviathan, Asura might still be capable of about 600 on that back row Cecil. Roughly.
Yeah. Yeah, the Asura spot, very speedy, still very punchy, but not as punchy as the Leviathan spot. So should be much more manageable. Cecil should not be taking, 900 from a single swing.
Yeah, dropping slows on the demist or silk webs if you've got them, but
So the slow on demist is an interesting strategy, and I do trust Poidrac to know what the downsides of doing that are, because it's going to make her punch you less often, but it's also going to make her spend more time in this mist phase. That'll give you more time to recover, but at a certain point, if you're going cover strats and everyone's in low HP, you're not going to need that many turns to worry about it. Interesting piece of tech here. As I mentioned, Cecil will do the automatic cover so long as you do pretty much anything but parry. You don't want to attack demist in this state, but you can just use that defense sword and it's not going to do anything.
Yep, meanwhile, LUF has found his way to the Fey March and is going to take a look at this Valveless fight first and immediately resets out. Didn't like how the agility worked out there. Also, of note, did take that cane, so a cane is available there. Looks like Eddie. Yeah, wait, who was dropped?
Dropped the...
It's like Porum or Second Sid.
Second Sid. Yeah, sorry, Second Sid. Porum was dropped for Rosa, dropped the Second Sid.
Yep, does have that heroin robe on Rosa. Might be going for Battle Rosa strats here.
Yeah, using aim with Rosa with the hair, like an armor bow and everything like that is going to be pretty good. You can also Zerk her up. Not going to do quite as good, but as I mentioned before, this spot is not super hard to hit with melee or physical attacks, I should say. So yeah, this play makes a lot of sense.
Yep, here come the Bacchus on the first 2 here. And does look like, does get the first Bahamut off on Demist here, so is going to get close to the damage cap here.
I think that was the
6,200.
I think that was the second one that maybe landed, so... Zero spot does have less HP than the Bahamut spot, which is good for Poidrac here.
I'm not sure this other Bahamut's going to come out before she goes back into mist, though. Oh, well, another shot, maybe?
With the slow up, I think, yeah, there it is. There was a high roll. Nice.
There we go, yep.
Demist is down, so if this isn't the instant gratification, I think you pop a save, go save Scum, Rydia's mom's check, and
absolutely.
And if you can avoid it, just don't do this Val right now. Oh, okay, maybe do the Val right now.
Oh my! We had Burr 0.5. Now we have Burr 1.0.
Yeah, so that is very nice. You still want to probably save this for later because you don't quite have the defenses, even for that Cecil with the Crystal Sword, to survive very easily. But yeah, that's huge, especially if LUF gets through this vow, which appears he will, and then maybe decides to either fade demist or struggles with it to the point that he doesn't take it. Ooh. But yeah, this is getting kind of spicy. We are about to find out if this vow is required, though, depending on what Rydia's mom is holding there.
Yeah, Cecil with that X-Gal is actually doing a good bit of work on this vow, swinging for about 2,200 a shot. So as long as LUF can keep that Cecil upright, Rosa getting in a good shot for 1,200 there as well. But yeah, assuming everybody can stay upright here, does have enough berserkers to flood the queue. So is looking pretty good to get through this.
There's darkness, so there opens up a bunch more checks. I think you go to the moon here. You have Crystal Sword in hand. But question from chat: why isn't LUF jumping? The Leviathan spot has relatively low physical evasion stats for Valvalis. Jumping is not going to allow much more damage to be done, and also you get counter punched when you jump. So you're just going to take an extra swing that you don't necessarily need to take.
Yeah, it's less, I'd love to have her outside of the spin, just land magic with that Rydia, well, at least on Poidrac's side involved. But, I mean, to be completely fair, we just saw a spoon there, but, I mean, we don't want to take those counter punches there. We saw how hard she punches already.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that spoon. The spoon is useful for one thing right now. We don't have an Edge, we don't have an Edward, but we didn't have 10 key items yet. So that puts us at 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 key items for LUF. After this and getting the Darkness Crystal from Rydia's mom, that'll be 10. So if there are Sirens on the moon, while LUF may look behind right now, he may want to do his grind to allow the moon fights to go a bit faster. And so could make up quite a bit of time here. And also kind of an interesting fact here is this seed has a required Crystal Sword in it.
Yeah, this required Crystal Sword. Who'd have thunk that? We are at the moment of truth here. Poidrac is going to the Hummingway Cave. Are we sirenless? Let's find out.
Nope, there they are. Oh, okay, that is good. That enables a grind for those that don't know. Sirens are a Japanese exclusive item. We call them J items that will instantly summon the rarest encounter for whatever floor you are on. So this is very useful because there's a particular section of the underworld map where you can summon yellow dragons in their egg form, which give a ton of experience, 34,000 each. Double that with 10 key items. On the moon, we have King Ryu's, which are the gold dragons. They give 30,000 experience per kill, and you can life glitch them. You can hourglass them, weak them. There's plenty of ways to kill them. Warlocks as well. There's a lot of different places to use sirens to facilitate very, very quick grinds. Without those, our runners have to get more creative.
But have you heard about Third Sid?
I haven't, but Poidrac apparently has. That's a lot of Sids. I know we were talking up, we were hyping up Sid's value on the overworld, but Ali, we're done with the overworld. You didn't have to put one here. We could have used something like a Fu or an Edge, but you did give us a required Crystal Sword, so I can't be too upset with you.
I mean, Oops All Sid sounds like an interesting seed, to be completely fair.
Sounds like an interesting cereal, too.
I mean, is Sid moonlighting as Captain Crunch? Because I could totally see him making that.
I was about to say we just need a fab palette that is Sid as Captain Crunch.
Scala, can we make that happen?
Scala, please. Alrighty, Poidrac here, with Sirens in hand, still needs quite a bit for go mode, going what we call bottom up. There's a lot of key item and boss density at the bottom. The Ribbon Room notably gives 2 key item checks for just one boss that has 42,000 hit points. But yeah, we're looking for a Legend Sword, a Pink Tail, a Harp, or Rubicant. Any 3 of those 4, and Poidrac is in go mode. You wouldn't say no to a pass either, so you don't have to make this walk twice.
Yeah, the big question is what happens if our runners run into... I mean, Twin Harp could have goods behind it, and we've had a rash of seeds with a required harp having, the boss there and something, behind it, or just being an objective itself with a key item behind it. But at what point, let's say, hey, we find a Pink Tail, we find a Twin Harp, and we find a Baron Key.
So, I'm feeling you're asking what point do you bail on the moon?
Yes.
If I end up with 2 of the 3 pieces that I need here, particularly if I end up with Twin Harp Pink Tail, I face check the rest of the bosses here on the moon before I go back. At the very least, I face check everything else is down here. Hello, free fight. Do we have any coffins? We do.
If only
Excellent.
this fight was one room to the right.
Yeah, well, what I do like here is, yes, if it was one room to the right, that would be a huge infusion of experience. However, Poidrac only has 9 key items. So doing this first, getting a free fight, if this is a key item, that makes that fight next door double experience.
I mean, we could have just had like the Baron Guards back here and having this fight one room to the right, because that is the best fight ever.
Well, we could have Baron Guards over there too, which isn't quite as good because it's not quite as item experience dense on one unit, but just a dragon.
Ooh, you love to see it 5 minutes into the seed with Iridia, but 1 hour 9, not so much.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made. Moon routing is always a hot topic. Every runner has their own ways to do it. If I was sitting on 9 key items, I would have probably gone for the Demarine strat, which is to take the Wyvern Altar first. Oh, hi, Cabrina. We have an hourglass here. This is also free.
Oh, never mind. We've got a bunch of dolls stealing all of our experience here anyway.
Yeah. But doing the Wyvern Altar to try and get a key item, as well as doing the White Spear Altar before Ribbon Room, just to try and maximize the experience. I'm definitely a fan of that, but yeah, this spot here, not gonna be too bad if we can get these dolls down. The back 3 dolls are susceptible to hourglasses, are susceptible to the Toad spell. They're also very weak to damage, so I think, yeah, we're trying to Toad them here, and it whiffs. Okay. They're also coffinable if you wanted to get like really, really cheeky about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, okay, Poidrac didn't go down far enough in the list there, is staring right at those hourglasses and says, no thank you.
So I can see it. You may want to get the Toad off here, save the hourglasses in case you want to maybe do some other grind that is facilitated by hourglasses.
Gold Dragons comes to mind, and actually Bahamut does make it quite fast.
Yeah. So that may be a reason why you're hanging on to those. But if we can get this Toad up, we could very easily use Bahamut and likely wipe the floor with these, because if the last remaining dolls in the back are Toads, the message for turned into Calbrena will appear, but they won't do anything because Toads can't turn into a big doll.
I kind of feel like I just lock a Bahamut and call this done unless Poidrac is conserving MP here.
I'm not sure about his tent or / cabin situation, but we'll have to see. Meanwhile, LUF is through the D-Mist, has the Darkness Crystal in hand, has the Crystal Sword, is launching the big whale. Still hasn't gone and checked that Sand Ruby yet to get the Yang, as far as I can tell. So an hour and 12 minutes in, just about, and no objectives done. That's a bad feeling.
That is near panic there. Less so because that was an incredibly rude speed bump in the form of that Fey March.
Absolutely.
So while I hate getting to the moon I mean, I do have 10 key items if I'm LUF here, so any grind you want is on the table with the Sirens,
No!
the Hourglasses.
Sorry, that frog's name was Cal, and Poidrac just brutally murdered it with the crystal sword. So, rip Cal, but we do get 2 key items. Oh, there's a pass. There's a Baron key. Okay, pass good.
Well, okay. I mean, we do have Poidrac now has the 10 key items by virtue of the Baron key, at least. But I'm going to assume there's probably a little bit of a collective groan there, as first off, it got like 28,000 XP from that spot, which is not what you want to see out of 100,000. But also, Baron key.
Yep.
Where we begin on this?
I don't know. Poidrac is not gonna go peek the Masamune altar.
No, going straight for a grind here is reshuffling is gonna pop a siren once those levels right now.
Yep, I definitely agree with this. You finally got your 10th key item. That's what you were fishing for there. You've already burned the high experience spot, which would have given you hardly any experience anyway. But yeah, go ahead, hourglass up, bring out this Bahamut. If you get some high rolls, maybe you don't get a chance to life glitch them, but who cares? This will still be 120,000 experience at the bare minimum.
Yep, they've been taking care of Dushmu. That was the Baron key and the pass were in the ribbon room there. And here comes Bahamut, which is actually probably at this level gonna softens both of them up to being almost one shot here, especially with Crystal Sword Cecil dealing out the damage here.
Yeah. So Poidrac decided to put his Sid on the floor. That's a bit confusing for me because you do have Dwarf X and Curse Ring, so even getting him up to like in his 50s, he'll still serve as a 1 agility anchor with both those equipped. But maybe he has other plans. No idea. Maybe just wants to save the turns.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's kind of the big sell of Sid there. It's you can effectively strap a negative 20 agility on him, on a person who doesn't really zoom to begin with. And yeah, I mean, it's nice having somebody with 3,500 hit points that doesn't die.
And yeah, that's going to kill them both. Okay, so no life glitch this time, but still nice, clean 120,000 experience. Won't say no to that.
Yeah, it's not life glitch, but it's extremely efficient dealing with these dragons in one turn.
Yeah, I would like if I ever if I have the chance to take out both King Ryus in one turn compared to life glitching them, especially if sirens aren't necessarily at a premium, I take it. Yeah, you're gonna maybe use your last hourglass here, but looks like trying to get the Bahamut off without having to use the hourglass. This Yang is not going to get the experience if this kills, but this was also kind of a heads-up play, putting Rydia in the top slot.
Yeah, I was putting Rydia up there for the first turn. Did want to save that hourglass, looks like. Again, might have wanted to heal up before that, because those gold dragons left alone will hurt very quickly.
I have to wonder what your end goal is here. Are you trying to get your Rydia all the way to nuke? Or are you just trying to get this to be a very comfortable Crystal Sword, Cecil go burr sort of situation?
I mean, I have Crystal Sword Cecil as much as I am a complete fan of Team Rydia, who seems to have forgotten her MP here and needs a little bit of a boost and is throwing the hourglass to get that boost here. As much as I am a Rydia fan here, you have a Crystal Sword Cecil.
Yeah, you've got the power couple. You've got a white shirt lifestyle on that Rosa. You've got Crystal Sword, power shirt, Zeus Gauntlet on this Cecil. Those two by themselves. You give this Rosa 2,100 HP or so. These two could, take down Zeromus by themselves.
Yeah, heck, I mean, you're going to have a Yong with probably, when everything's said and done, close to 4,000 hit points as well with this grind. So he's actually going to contribute as well. Rydia did her job. She got you here. Now it's time for everybody else.
Question from chat: where's the Crystal Sword? Crystal Sword came from the Demist and the Fey March, which is required because the Darkness Crystal comes from Rydia's mom.
Yep, so you heard it right. That was a required Crystal Sword.
All right, LUF is back down here, healing up at the dwarf pot. Wonder if he grabbed sirens is going to do some eggs? Question mark.
Yeah, LUF was doing eggs already here. LUF did do Dwarf Castle. Might be thinking of other things. Has there, and again, not sure on the camping situation. Does have 4 tents. So it does have 400 MP across the board, which would be just enough to get that ready up from 0 to full by using all of them. But does have 2 elixirs as well. So not in dire straits, and LUF is actually going to go straight to value. Value at Cave Bahamut.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of early value cave. Typically, if I get an early darkness crystal, I like to peek it for boss information. I feel like LUF might feel a bit behind and is trying to see if maybe there's a cheeky Rubicant here that leads into one of the required key items. If this is like Rubicant into Harp into Pinktail, then oh man, that is some great routing. Well, there's a Rubicant sprite.
We've seen elements. That's Rubicant.
Yep. Okay. I've been known to be a witch. We'll see if this is Harp.
And that Sand Ruby that's still sitting in LUF's inventory is also looming large, but this is a wonderful, wonderful spot for Rubicant to show up, at least for our runners, because look at how pitiful those counterfire 2s are.
Yeah, when he gets to his punch part of his script, it is going to be a little punchy. Yeah, that glare. Yeah, 1100 damage glare. What?
Yeah, I believe Sid is at this point just standing mockingly at Rubicant and asking if it was flame.
And welcome on in, Raiders from Free Enterprise. We got a heck of a race here. You may notice that there's hardly any objectives on the board, and nearly an hour and 20 minutes in. I do want to remind you, do not spoil the results of the race you just came from. Those here watching this one may want to go back and watch that VOD, myself included. But strap in and buckle up. We've got quite a bit here to finish off. Brief recap. Very generous seed, double Sid start, power shirts aplenty. Everything culminated in needing to go to Feymarch to fight Demist to get a crystal sword and a darkness crystal from Rydia's mom. The difference in objectives right now is the Yang is behind that Sand Ruby, which LUF has not checked yet, and it's a Pinktail. Okay, so skip the Twin Harp part. This is a hard required cave value.
Wow.
And there's the Harp.
Oh my, well, you asked for objectives, you got objectives. We are officially in no mode now after having 1 objective apiece off both of our runners literally about 1 minute ago.
Yeah, this went from 0 to no mode very quickly. Poidrac at this point just needs to hit up cave value, has done his grind. LUF, this is his first trip to the moon, is going to be going in. I imagine he goes bottom up, needs to beeline straight for that Ogopogo spot, and needs to remember that he has the Sand Ruby. He does not know Yang is in that bed, but that is where his objective 5 is at.
Yeah, we're not sure. Legend Sword could actually still be up here as well. I mean, this could be an absolutely loaded moon, and Poidrac is going to look like Poidrac is going to clear it all, and I do not blame Poidrac. We're kind of just seeing this through the crystal ball that is the other runner stream here. So right now, we've got a race.
Some cheeky Dark Imps. Got a couple coffins left, don't you?
Yeah, got a couple coffins left. No more, what am I looking for in my head here? LUF is going to go top down, actually. I assume LUF thinks he's behind right here. And speaking of freebies, hi, Baron Guards.
We've had Baron Guards, Officer Soldier, and Dark Imps all on the moon. This moon is not only not haunted, this moon is incredibly generous.
This is the freest moon of every free moon that's ever been, like, ever.
And Octomam at the Ogopogo spot isn't that nasty with a Thunderclaw Yang, especially because you can slow it down considerably. The Rubicant in Cave Value, the dolls in the Ribbon Room. We've not run into anything on this moon that is particularly challenging.
Yeah, I would love to actually life glitch some of these, but honestly, Poidrac has every level he's going to need. And to be fair, LUF is almost there himself. This spot, I believe, at base with the doubler is still going to pop out about 120,000. So, yeah, 128,000 actually be completely. Only a Dragoon Spear. LUF did pick up that cane. I mean, it kills gold dragons, but LUF doesn't need that much more of a grind.
Yeah. Problem is, if LUF is going top down, he's not going to get to that Twin Harp until the very end. And we know that that's what he needs here on the moon. And actually, looking at the key items we got, that Twin Harp has to start a chain. No, we got the Baron Key.
Yeah, Baron Key's still alive too, but yeah, Poidrac.
About to say,
actually,
yeah.
Poidrac actually also did get a nuclear Rydia here, so you love to see it. Rydia's online here. But yeah, Poidrac's gonna go down there, gonna see the Baron Guards fight. It's not a hard fight, so Poidrac is just gonna burn right through it, and I would assume is gonna see K value there, is gonna check it on the way out. And to be fair, I mean, LUF's probably gonna hit Ribbon Room and White Spear Room before that, so honestly, I see these two probably jumping off the moon at roughly the same time, and that Sand Ruby that LUF still hasn't checked, I wonder if that's on his mind right now, because again, that's the check that Poidrac has over him, and Poidrac will almost definitely check K Bahamut on the way off the moon. So
yeah. What I can say is that LUF, if you want to go optimal routing here, is once LUF does leave this moon, I think the first thing you do is go check that Twin Harp, because if Twin Harp is exactly Legend Sword and the rest of our progression is behind that Baron Key, you can just fade the Sand Ruby check entirely. It's not very long, but you will make up some small bit of time. And that would work definitely in his favor. It would make it a hard required Twin Harp, in which case the either Poidrac would not need to turn in the Pink Tail, or LUF would not need to turn in that Sand Ruby.
Yeah. The big takeaway right here is LUF is definitely on Zeromus levels right now. Poidrac is on power overwhelming levels here. That Zeromus is not going to like Poidrac's party when Poidrac finally finds the way to Rivers, you stepped away. Yeah, Yang at the Sand Ruby there.
All right, Poidrac's going into what we know is required. There will be the Ruby here, as well as his Pink Tail. Then he will know that he is in go mode. He has Objective 5 lit up. He has what he needs for Objective 1. He's about to get Objective 4, and he'll have what he needs for Objective 3. Having the levels, having the pass in hand, all he'll need to do is go play us some music, trade away a Pink Tail, and then show us a butt.
Imagine having value at K Bahamut. Also, Poidrac making the Galaxy Brain play here, kept that Ice Brand around, knowing that Rubicant was somewhere probably in his way, I mean, based on the objectives, and is actually going for, yep, that's quad damage. That's quad 9s with an Ice Brand. That's right.
That feels good. That's something you don't get to see all that often, but that has to feel good. All those extra multipliers, you've got your grind done. This Cecil is nearly at 4,000 hit points. This Sid is going to just, this Yang is going to shake off this glare here. One more swing and Ruby is done for.
I don't know if Yang has Nice Claws. I mean, that's a decent 3,500 point, not Power Punch. That's a Berserk Punch, but...
And there we go. Was it quad 9s? Let me show you how. That's revenge for all the quad 9s we've ever gotten from glares.
Yeah, that's pretty big there. That's
And with that, Poidrac is in go mode.
now it's an hour 27 in. You went completely bottom up and found this on the top of the moon. Are you panicking because, hey, yeah, I'm in go mode now, but did my opponent start top down? I mean, well, maybe not so much because Twin Harp was on the bottom of the moon, so maybe not actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't be panicking too much about the moon. I would be panicking potentially if Legend Sword was at Val, because Poidrac did fade that Valvalis. And if the Legend Sword is there, then maybe your opponent did come top down and grab that Cave Bahamut, and that Twin Harp is just not needed.
LUF taking a wrong turn is walking towards Romus. Wait a minute here.
Wrong turn at Albuquerque. All right, let's go back up. There we go. There it is. Yeah, that's muscle memory. I've done this same exact thing multiple times. You're like, oh yeah, I'm here. Let's just go. Oh wait.
Let's go. Just go. Let's go punt this butt here. And a genuine Hanzo steal on that pink tail for a ninja that is not found himself in this seed here. Question up in chat also asking what the requirement is for go mode. If you see the 5 objectives in the middle of the screen here, we are looking at you have to complete 4 of those 5. That awards you with a crystal, which is necessary to be able to take the final fight against Aromas there. So as soon as you have 4 out of those 5 objectives that you can complete, that is what we commonly refer to as go mode.
Exactly. It'll change based off the seed, but for this particular flag set, for the duration of this tournament, 4 to 5 plus access to Zeromus. That is our go mode. And LUF is about to get his Twin Harp from this Ogopogo spot. Will technically be in go mode, but doesn't quite know it yet because has not checked that bed in Kaipo.
Yeah, and with Poidrac this little bit ahead, we're gonna see. Actually, what we're just actually gonna see here is we are gonna see DJ Spoonie B here coming out with the Free Enterprise top 10 is what we're gonna see here.
Yeah, we've seen Wyvern, we've seen Golbez. There's nothing here that's going to be incredibly rude so as to just immediately make you regret not taking the save point. Gonna go through, doesn't really have what he needs to make this go quickly. Just gonna let the script play out. And then, yeah, for those, again, as I keep saying, for those that aren't familiar with it, because I know we are on the Limit Break channel and not our home channel, this is a randomizer, and one of the things that we randomize is the music that is played by Edward during the Twin Harp sequence. Tons of tracks, some by Boardface, our lead developer, some by Calmlamity, our lead audio engineer, and then also a couple by Xenocat, fantastic member of the community. But now I'm going to shut up because I'm not Rivers. And that was a blink and you miss it Ogopogo fight. But we are done here. Is this going to be Legend Sword?
Well, I mean, we saw Baron, but
okay. So the Legend Sword is through Baron. either on the Baron throne or Baron pot directly, or via a Luca key, which has to be at one of those two locations.
Also, I'm going to be right back. I need to go dig up half the world with a chocobo. I'm sure I'll find something good.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It's perfectly fair. I can handle it from here. But yeah, that is Poidrac's crystal in hand, and we're right next to Troya. We've got a pass. We're going to be in this Zeromus fight before we know it. We have power overwhelming, level 56 Cecil rocking full, basically best in slot gear with a crystal sword. This is going to be a very tidy Zeromus. And yeah, one of the things that we change in the randomizer is rather than having to go back to the moon and walk all the way down, there's this pass item that you normally get here that unlocks a little secret dance room. Instead, we repurposed the dance room. We called them the contractors, had them renovate it, and now there's a teleporter which takes us right to the Zeromus fight. Do you wanna maybe ask a question? I do.
I think I know this one. Is it Zeromus' nap time? No, that's not it. What is in Zeromus' pockets? No, those are the wacky flags. I've got this. Oh, yeah. I believe the question is, whose butt are we kicking it today?
Yes, absolutely. 526 different sprite options. We can't randomize anything about Zeromus. His script is too hard to put him anywhere else. So we leave him where he's at. But to make things fresh every seed, so you're not just fighting the same ugly mug, we, and by we I mean Boardface and Scala Kitty, have created, as I said, 526 different sprites that can be chosen for Zeromus. But I have a second question. On top of whose butt are we going to kick? Is butt cute? Yes or no?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cute will this butt be?
I'm hoping for at least a 9 out of 10 butt. Vote with their phones now. That is Unomus.
Is that Skipomus?
That is Skip. That is the Skip card from the popular card game Uno. That is the green card. The Skip card, when played, you can play it on top of another green card, or on top of another Skip, or on top of a wild where green has been declared, and it will skip the turn of the your opponent who is next in line.
So does that mean we get to skip Big Bang? No?
I think it means that Poidrac has to skip something because he's the opponent here, but it looks like Poidrac's not playing by the rules. He's taking his turns regardless.
I think we're using house rules here or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be that, or just Poidrac is just one of those players who's like, no, it's my turn. It's like, the rules say, I don't care. It's my turn. Just slaps down a reverse card on top of the skip.
Anyway, again, we've got some power overwhelming on Poidrac's side here. This Zeromus isn't going to know what hit him.
Yeah, this is, you got some great reflex strats. You've got, or hybrid strats. You've got the Cecil hitting for well over 6,000 damage. You've got Yang contributing with about 4,000 damage a hit. Rydia with some powerful nukes. Rose has got a white queued up. I think we're going to try and push this before the second Big Bang. So there's no need to worry about any healing. And even if we got a second Big Bang, 3 out of our 4 characters are probably going to survive anyway.
Honestly, I'm mostly convinced after Rydia take a whopping 188 by that first Big Bang, I think she's fine.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get a bunch of good equipment, but you also don't get go mode until fairly late into the siege, and you've just gathered all of the experience on the planet. This will be over momentarily. I have to imagine we may even get a chance to skip rocks. Yeah, there it is. It's done. GG's to Poidrac. Get those GG's in chat. Waiting for the official time. 1 hour, 36 minutes, 41 seconds. Poidrac gonna move to 3-2, still be alive in the Lali-Ho League. A winner go home match next week. And we are joined by our winner this evening. How you doing, Poidrac?
Still alive, somehow.
Still alive, but so rude. I'm just gonna say one thing. He played that skip, and you just decided to walk all over it.
Well, I had a skip card in my hand as well, so I just played it on top of it.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So that was a seed for about an hour and 10 minutes. You had only the Yang from the Sand Ruby, and then all of a sudden you were in go mode. What was your thought there when you got that required Rubicant out of Value Cave?
Lucky I stayed on the moon. It's very rare that you see a moon, the entirety of the moon needed with both Bahamut Cave and the Ogopogo spot being required. So I'm happy I stayed on there and not dropped down for Baron, because after that it was a very long chain to get to the Legend Sword. So yeah, I'm really happy I just stuck with my guns there.
Yeah, and even then, had you even gotten to the Legend Sword, you would have still needed that Cave Bahamut because it was Ruby and the Pink Tail, so that was hard required. But yeah, that was crazy. And that moon, like, there was officers, DMs, Baron Guards, Halbrena, a relatively simple Octomam, and Ruby in probably the friendliest spot you can find him. Talk about free moons and it wasn't even a haunted moon.
Yeah, it was a dream moon really for going quickly. Coffins, hourglasses, there's Toad, Mini, name what you want, Ice Brand, and Octomam just being Octomam. It was shaping up that way anyway from the early game, where there was a lot of difficult bosses on the Earth or in the Underworld. Val was taken care of. We'd seen Kunyatso in Mist Cave. We'd seen in Goldbears. We'd seen Wyvern. We'd seen a lot of things. And Ogo was sort of on the mind, but even he didn't show up. So it was a really nice moon for once.
Yeah, that was the friendliest moon I think I've ever seen in Free Enterprise, hands down. The only thing it was missing was King Queen Eblin. But yeah, I just wanted to step away from the interview real quick just to point out something that's happening on Luf's side. Luf seems to maybe have forgotten that he hasn't checked the Sand Ruby. We know that's where the Yang is, hasn't gone and gotten that to get his objective 5. Is going to show us Baron Castle, so we'll get to see Luka Key is going to be here either in the pot or on the throne. And Legend Sword is either going to be here in the other spot or behind the Luka Key. We'll find out shortly, or I guess it may have scrolled by on the spoiler and I missed it. But
it will scroll by very shortly on the spoiler.
Okay.
So I won't spoil it exactly, but I know where it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're 3-2. You're still alive. Next week is a winner go home. Two main questions here. How are you feeling about the tournament overall and your performance thus far? And is there anyone in the 3-2 pack in particular that you're hoping to fade next week? Or is there anybody that you want to be paired up with? Maybe a grudge match?
So the answer to the three questions there is the tournament's been amazing, and watching there's been some really close races. There's been an amazing performance by all the runners, as they've been performing well above their skill level in a lot of cases. Myself, I'm not really too happy about my play. I still feel that this flag set isn't a great strong suit of mine, and I could be better. I really feel I should be a little doing better than I am right now. But those are the breaks. I've just got to deal with it as I go now. Just have some fun and see if I can get a win next week and make the brackets. As for who I want to face or who I don't want to face, I am going to put that out and say everyone in the 3-2 bracket, because there is not a bad player among them. Whoever I come up against is going to be a challenge. Actually, the only person I would like to face is Bai.
Yeah, no, Vi is a pretty easy opponent, and this is not an official admin announcement. This is I have run math, and I think that there is going to be 53 people alive next week, which the math plays out that there is likely going to be a 3-2 bye based on how the rules go. Nobody can play spoiler, so we'll see if that plays out, or if we somehow don't end up with 53, because I am notoriously good at math and very, very bad at math.
That's why you built Siren, isn't it? To take that away from you, so
exactly.
You don't have to do math.
Exactly. She handles it all for me. We get the bad news that Legend Sword is here in Luca. Luckily, it was at the Baron Pot and not at the Odin Throne, which would be an even bigger insult. But yeah, you're absolutely right. 3-2 pool. It's going to be deep all the way through. Everybody there is going to be hungry, wanting to make it to brackets. I'm in the 4-1 pool, and I'm also terrified. There's no free matchup in the 107 people that we had signed up for this tournament. Everyone here showed up to play, and some people just got randoed. I wouldn't have expected you to be at 3-2 right now. I wouldn't have expected myself to be at 4-1, but them's the breaks sometimes.
Not really too much you can do. Just play the seed that's in front of you. If you win, you win. If you don't, well, you've got to come back the next week with a little bit more work to do. I didn't win twice, so I've got to come back and do a little bit more work. I'll see what happens next week. See who I'm up against. See how I do, and But no matter what happens, all I can really guarantee is that I'm going to have fun. I don't care about anything else. These last 2 weeks, I've been up against it. I've just had fun, played my game, and it's just flowed. And I've got the 2 wins. Let's see if it happens again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hogged the mic during the interview. Knight, did you have any questions for Poidrac?
Really only the one. I mean, only one in terms of you took one shot of the Valvalus, said, no, this isn't going to be a thing. And then as soon as Demas paid out in spades, I mean, hey, it required Crystal Sword and all. I mean, how much was she in the back of your head until you found Go mode in K value?
A little bit, to be honest. She could have always hidden one of the pieces, and when I picked up Rose, so I was going in the back of my head, going, should I have actually kept Porum instead of Sid? Because Porum was a little bit higher level, or would have had Blink by that point, so it would have been a little bit easier to go through that Valvalus. So it was still in the back of my mind, but yeah, it's difficult to really just say at that time, do I want to deal with it now, or just hope that no one's going to deal with it? And I'm going to guess no one dealt with it because it's a difficult spot.
Yeah, LUF did take it. Took it before the demist. It turned into a spoon. But yeah, ultimately, I would have been on the back of my mind too, because if it had been Legend Sword and my opponent took that Rubicant first, then the complete dive all the way down to the Ogopogo spot would have not been required, and that potentially could have felt pretty bad. LUF, meanwhile, has got the Legend Sword out of the sealed cave, showed us a parting shot of Vanilla with a Vanilla Evil Wall. One last little bit for Ali to make me smile. But yeah, GG's Poidrac. It's going to be fun to see how the final week plays out. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you can make it to brackets, because I would love to face off against you. I think that would be a really, really exciting matchup in brackets if you can make it there.
We'll see what happens, and thank you to everyone that's done the restream work today. And I'm going to let LUF show another dose of Uno and see if he can skip something.
All right. Well, have a fantastic rest of your day, Poidrac. Thank you so much.
Have a good evening, everyone.
And that was Poidrac, our winner this evening, with a time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, 41 seconds, just as a reminder. LUF now turning in this Adamant and Legend Sword, getting an X-Cal. Don't need that. Have a Crystal Sword, but here, have a Crystal, and we have a 17 of 17.
I mean, 18 out of 18 if you want to count that pass as well, but you simultaneously love and hate to see it. LUF, and I mean, to be fair, an hour 46 on a absolute full clear of the seed is nothing to scoff at whatsoever.
Absolutely. In practice, I have done plenty of 17 of 17s, plenty of 28 of 28, meaning checked every key item location possible. And I have very, very rarely had a sub 2 hour on in those circumstances. And that is effectively what LUF has done here this evening. Gonna set up for this Zeromus fight, has the pass in hand. We'll be getting his taste of Unomus, and I imagine we'll be going about as well as Poidrac did. Doesn't have the Rydia with Nuke, doesn't quite have level 56 on Cecil, but full on Berserk strats incoming, and looks like we're gonna have to find a new favorite children's card game to play, because Unomus is about to be ended.
I mean, now I'm trying to figure out what other card games did I play that weren't like, I mean, I'm going to show my Midwest here by saying euchre, but you know.
What is it? Skip Bow? We could play Skip Bow.
Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. We could play Triple Triad. Tetramaster.
For the life of me, could still never figure out the RNG behind Tetramaster.
Me neither.
I mean, back when I played Final Fantasy XIV, I was absolutely a rare card hunter after I said, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And then Onion Knight drops out of the Land of Darkness. I'm like, well, fine, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I recently got my Onion Knight as well. They're also making some neat changes to Triple Triad in 14 on this next following Tuesday, so I'm excited for that. The fastest way to find and spy the Final Fantasy 14 player in your friend group is just to say Tetramaster is better than Triple Triad and see who gets angry.
I mean, yeah. Remembering some card games, but not card games on motorcycles.
Okay, I am a huge fan of card games on motorcycles. That is my my shiny cardboard. So
okay.
As I stare at a stack of those cards in front of me right now.
I mean, to be fair, I have the other giant card game in front of me, so totally got. Is LUF gonna give us some Quint here after throwing that Silk Web?
I wouldn't hate it. Jam the queue. Everyone can survive a nerfed Big Bang, and then the people that matter will likely survive an unnerfed Big Bang, so might as well.
I mean, Riddy isn't, but she's chugging a Bacchus just to be sure.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like we have Sid tossing out a Cure 3. Maybe his next turn he'll toss out that Bacchus. Just want to make sure that Cecil does indeed survive. But I think we're gearing up to see some Quint here, and I don't hate it. Put down the controller and just wait for the crack bang boom.
I mean, Rydia has taken 2 swings, so it totally does count here. We're waiting on Sid here.
Gonna toss out a... Okay, I like this. Tossing out a Cure 3 onto Rosa to make sure that she survives a second Big Bang. She probably would have been fine anyway, if you happen to not tip the damage to avoid the second Big Bang.
Was that 372 with a Heroine robe equipped?
I have no idea. This damage output makes me feel like there's a Heroine robe equipped, but that damage taken by that Big Bang makes me feel like maybe not.
Some of one, half dozen of another, I'm not sure. Looks like we're just gonna go Quad Zerker. Yes, the Rydia totally counts. And Sid's just gonna play some Chemist here.
And that's perfectly fine. This is safer. You don't get to put the controller down, but I imagine that you're doing about the 12,000 damage per round that is requisite to skip the second Big Bang. So I imagine that we're gonna skip that. Maybe take one Meteo, but this fight will be over. Yeah, there's the Meteo, and this fight will be over very quickly. And there we go. There's the crumble, and LUF has finished at a time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 12 seconds. GG's to him. Very, very well run race. Someone with a speech impediment, those are 3 terrible words to put together. And we are joined. How are you doing, LUF?
I would be lying if I said I'm not a little bit disappointed with this run. I think everyone noticed actually forgot to verify what was behind the Sun Ruby. And I'm like, okay, I actually see Poidrac already finished, and I'm like, oh, what did I forget now? And I'm quite in the middle of the old Kipmania sequence, and I'm like, oh, I did not convert the Sun Ruby. Probably Yang is just there, and I'm like, let's put out a show. Let's at least do the 17-17.
Okay.
So yeah, that was actually the explanation for what happened at the end. I was like, yeah, might as well. I mean, that's pretty much the last run I will have in this tournament. Well, I might actually still play next week's one, but at that point it's not important anymore. I'm still kind of disappointed that I'm eliminated, but hey, that's my mistake. Should have checked the Sun Ruby. So that's definitely on me.
Yeah, well, it happens. Those types of mistakes. I've made them. I'm sure Nightdew's made them. Poidrac's made them before. Everyone makes those types of mistakes, but it makes sense now. You just want to show it off. You got to show off that vanilla evil wall, which was really cool. So thanks for that. Thanks for putting on a good show, and thanks for being a good sport about it. But as you said, this is you're at 2 and 3, so this is the end of your chances to advance. If you would still like to, you can play another match next week to finish out Swiss. But what have you thought about this tournament so far? Who do you kind of have your eyes on that is moving on, that you're maybe thinking, maybe they can take it all?
Obviously, I'm gonna say, Diaz meant to have such a. I mean, how did Diaz not win something already? That's like, wow,
right?
I know. But I'm still gonna root for someone else. I'm gonna root for LaliHo live. I actually met him in already 2 tournaments before, and guy's a very good sport, and he's actually quite good. Managed to twice the top 32, and I watch him play it a lot, and I'm like, he is good to go past the top 32 round for sure. So I'm gonna root for LaliHo.
Yeah, I'm rooting for LaliHo too. I unfortunately handed him a loss this week, but I'm hoping that he can pull it off next week and make a deep brackets run, because he's a great runner, and I love watching him as well. And I was surprised when I beat him. To be completely honest, I did not think that was going to happen. But again, I'm sorry, I'm hogging the mic from you during these interviews.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah, not at all.
chatting. We're at the end of the stream. I'm letting some stress get out of the system and all. So it's fine. We're chatting for everyone. I'm sure there's some people out there that kind of love the odds question and the opinions of pretty much anyone on the stream. By the way, I really have to thank everyone again. The whole tournament, even if it's on the organization or if it's restreaming and all, everyone's done an incredible job. Thanks again for putting all the hard work necessary to have such events. It's very appreciated. always have a blast in those. So yeah.
Yeah, again, if you're gonna go out like that, I mean, 17 out of 17, still sub 2 is one hell of a way to go out. So, I mean, you definitely showed it all there, and again, definitely hope to see you and everybody who didn't make brackets here. There's always, or at least so far, there's always going to be another tournament, and we hope to see everybody there because this is a load of fun.
I will be there for sure. I mean, I did some mistakes in my runs this tournament, and I've been stressed a lot. I mean, even if it's my third tournament and all, I'm getting there. I'm finally making the 17 out of 17 under 2 hours. I know that's pretty much necessary if you actually want to go further, to go past and get into the brackets. But I did so many mistakes, and also I'm just gonna, practice not forgetting stuff. It's been pretty much my my demise in this tournament. So I'll be there for next round for sure.
Again, though, that was, I mean, again, love to see you race. It was still, again, the Sand Ruby Fade notwithstanding, you two were neck and neck for most of it. So it was an extremely good race to watch. And yeah, I just have, it's just, you were a wonderful player and we'd love to have you here.
Well, maybe next tournament, I will definitely give it another try. So yeah. And again, thanks for restreaming this run. Very appreciated, very fun. I hope everyone had a blast before I did that mistake. I mean, I kind of felt too that it could have been. I could have been very far from Poidrac before doing that mistake, so I knew it was kind of close, and I'm like, oh, I did that. So yeah.
All right, well, thank you again, and I think with that, we're going to be calling this race pretty quick to a close here. Again, I'd like to thank and shout out our restream team. We did have, I'll say on the restream, we did have dshmoo619 on the tracking. Another big thanks to everybody who makes this whole thing possible, because, hey, we love running it as much as we love talking about it sometime. And a huge thanks to my co-commentators, Zoe Vermillion. Absolute blast to commentate with you. Would do again.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 out of 10. Love doing this commentary with you. Nadia, it was fantastic. So big shout outs to you. What we are going to do here is we are not going to go on a raid. We are going to give y'all a chance to rest. Our next race is coming up in about 45 minutes. That is going to be over on the Free Enterprise channel. We've got Ike here versus Dr. Cossack. And then coming up later tonight at 10 p.m., we have Araya versus Slippery. And then just past midnight at 12:30 a.m., we have Frankie Bones versus X Pancraz over on Free Enterprise. The Araya Slippery is on Randomania 2. Don't want to miss those races, so go grab some dinner, grab some water, stretch your legs, and I will see you in chat over on the Free Enterprise channel. That's where I'm going to be.
Yep, go get some food, and we will all see you in just a little bit, everybody.
All right. Have a good night.